wanted to come on to talk about barking. I haven't talked about that in a while, so I thought I would come on talk about that. I've had a couple people asking me or talking to me about that, so thought I would do that for do a brief conversation about that. Because I've had a lot of people bringing that up with me, a lot of clients bringing that up. So when it comes to barking, you know, there's a lot of different barking. There's six standard types of barking. There is there's the excitement barking when they're like barking because somebody's coming in. There's got some guests. And they may be jumping, all that kind of fun stuff. There is the warning bark that they'll do, the fear barking, which comes with separation anxiety, which I've kind of been talking about. Some people have started to kind of see that as they've been starting to go back to work and start. Hi, Claudia. And some people have started to already see that as they start to go back to work, start to leave. So you may see your dog start to have the fear barking associated with separation anxiety. And this is the most heartbreaking because it's just, it's painful to hear. And it could be, your neighbors hearing it too. I know when I had first adopted my dog Mojo, she didn't know what was going on. She had a lot of fear barking. And so this is probably one of the harder ones to address. You can't really, just kind of like, give them the hand signal and, do all of that. It's more of an emotion one. So this is probably the hardest one to address. And so if you can avoid this, and kind of how I've been talking about separation anxiety and kind of starting to address this before you kind of just go to work and kind of, not think that your dog's not going to have this. Chances are they probably will have some kind of separation anxiety when you've been there for 10 hours a day or basically 24/7, and then all of a sudden you're not there again for 3 months. The chances are they're going to have some kind of separation anxiety. So the digging, the destruction, the barking, the crying, there's going to be something. And so that's going to be the fear barking. There's going to be guard barking. There's a guard barking. Some people may see that with their dogs. It can be, minimal, and it could be extreme. My dog Mojo started with that when she moved in with us, when she joined our family, and it took a little bit because she was new to the pack, and then we really worked on her with that. So she's gotten really good at that. So she's a protector, which is good. You want the protector, and you want them to have their voice, just like we have our voice. But you kind of don't want it to be 8 hours a day. That's kind of one of the things you want to kind of manage it. So that's the guard barking and frustration barking. Usually you'll see the frustration barking when they're on the leash or fenced in. Because it's a very unnatural feeling for dogs to be fenced in or on a leash. So you'll see that a lot when they're caged, when they're just don't have that freedom. And then you have the learned or attention barking. And so that's when when you feed into it. Kind of like when you have a child at the grocery store who cries, wanting that candy bar, and then you just feed into it and you give them that candy bar, and then they've learned to cry to get what they want. It's the exact same thought process with a dog. When they want attention and they bark, and then you give them the attention. So they learn that if they bark, that they're going to get that. So it's a learned process for them. Some of these are easier to address, others are harder. Probably one of the hardest ones, like I said, is the fear. And when anything's emotional with a dog, that's a lot harder to It takes longer. It's not, it's, you know, it's a longer process depending on how bad it is. All of these have different sounds, different motions, different ways to address them. They don't all have the same cut and dry, this is how you address a barking situation. You know, some are similar, some are very different. And a lot of these could be a combination. So they may be a combination of a warning bark and a guard barking. They could be a combination of learned and frustration. It could be like if they're on the leash and you are telling them to stop and they're like, oh, they're going to give me attention when I bark. And so, you know, there's a lot of different ones that some of these can just be a combination of them. So what trainers will usually do when they're contacted about barking is they'll be like, okay, I'll give you a log to see when are they doing this, what are the times, how are they barking, how long are they barking for, who are they barking at, what do they sound like, what are they doing. These are all keys to addressing these, because a lot of people just are like, they're barking, you know, that's it, they're barking. Well, in order to address it correctly, in an efficient manner, it's kind of key to know these things. So that's how I address it. I do a barking log. We need to get down, we need to funnel it down. Like, okay, what is happening? What are they doing? Who are they doing it with? What are the motions? What does it sound like? So when somebody asks me, my dog's barking, what do I do? Well, there's more to it. So that's I kind of just want to talk a little bit about that. I may go into more of it. These are more detailed issues than just my dog barks, that's it, you know. So but it's important to understand some of these because, like I said, as we go back to work and as we're away longer, you may see more of these. You may get more complaints from your neighbors who are home. And so if you want to minimize some of these, you may want to kind of address these before they become a serious problem. So if this is something that you want to do, if this is something you want to address, I'm going to put my information in the comments. You can contact me. I can, you know, talk to you more about this and ways that you may be able to address this with your dogs. If you know somebody that does have a barking problem, maybe your neighbor or somebody across the street, something that you know is a barking problem, I would be more than happy to talk to them and maybe there's something that we can do to help them. So I hope you all have a beautiful Monday. Oh, also today's divine dog card was vulnerability. So maybe this Monday be a little bit more vulnerable today. So I hope you all have a beautiful day. And I'm wishing you a happy Monday. Thank you. Bye.